Ready? Can I ask you all to please stand for the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Welcome to tonight's town board meeting. It's June 27, 2023. We have two public hearings on the agenda this evening. I would ask Emily to read the first notice.
Notice of public hearing by the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant to consider a proposed local law to add Chapter 85, limitation on parking and storing certain vehicles and boats. Please take notice that the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant, New York shall conduct a public hearing at the Town Hall on June 27, 2023 at 7 o'clock p.m. to discuss a proposed local law that will add Chapter 85 to the Town Code to limit parking and storing boats and other vehicles. Please take further notice. The proposed local law is available for review in the Town Clerk's office. Please take further notice that at the public hearing upon said proposed local law, an opportunity to be heard in regards thereto will then and there be given to those favoring passage of such proposed local law and also those opposed thereto.
Thank you. The purpose of this public hearing, like all public hearings, is to listen to what the community has, what the community feels about it. We've received some comments by phone, some by email. So the purpose of tonight's meeting is to hear what the public feels about this proposal. We do not sit up at night trying to create laws to make people unhappy. These things come about because it's been some complaints, neighbors, whatever, in the community. So at this point, anybody wishing to address this is welcome to do so at this time. If you didn't sign up, please sign up before you come up and come up to the microphone.
Mr. Supervisor, just a couple things too. This was circulated to staff since it was noticed last week. We have had comments from the building department that we're reviewing too now,
Right.
which we will then republish in the near future. But it looks like tonight we have to do that anyway, so there's probably not going to be a passage tonight, but we'll take further comments
Right.
and revise the law in accordance.
Any comments that we have received or will receive tonight will be part of that record as we move forward.
My name is Jeanette Spoor. I live at 799 Sherman Avenue, Thornwood, New York. I own an RV, 24 foot. I've had the RV parked in front of my house for 16 years. I have never had anybody complain about my RV being parked in front of my house. There is no way I can park it any place on my actual property because my house is built into the side of a hill. So the only flat part of where my house is in the front. And where my RV is parked, it's parked off the road, but on that, I don't know what you call it, from my property
Right-of-way?
line.
Town right away?
Yeah, that's where I park it, where everybody that has extra cars parks their cars. And as I said, I've never had anyone complain about my RV. I can't speak to the other issues that were mentioned in this. I don't particularly have a problem with it per se. I would like to know why the complaints have come in. What are they specific to? Because as I said, I mean, I'll be quite honest with you. I read something somewhere where it said for the character of the town, something along those lines. And I've never had somebody come over to me and say, you know, Jeanette, I lost money on my house because your RV is parked in front of yours. Never had anybody say that to me. And I've seen plenty of houses sold in my vicinity, and they've been going for a nice piece of change. So my RV has nothing to do with any of that. If somebody doesn't like looking at it, I have no control over that. There's lots of things I don't like, but I keep it to myself because I mind my business. I don't want to interfere in somebody else's lifestyle. And if I had to move my RV, I'm not getting rid of my RV. If I had to move it, I don't have the money. I'm retired. I don't have disposable income that I can go and build another driveway or whatever. And by the way, my driveway is on a hill. As I said, my house is built into the side of a hill. So the only place I can park my RV, and my RV is I can drive that anywhere. I'm allowed to. That's why I bought it, so that if I have to go to the store when I'm out camping, all I have to do is hop in my RV and go and park downtown and do my shopping. It's just a regular vehicle as far as I'm concerned. So again, I'm only speaking for myself. As I said, I don't know what the underlying reasons were for this proposal to be brought up. I don't have a problem with people that are working, that are trying to make a living. But then again, I don't know the background as to why this proposal was brought up. But my RV's been there for 16 years. It's not bothering anybody. I'm not impeding traffic. I'm not causing any issues with it. I don't live in it. It's just parked there when I'm not using it to go camping. So that's what I have to say. But I would like to know why the proposal was brought up in the first place.
Well,
That's
like
all.
I said at the beginning, we respond to people telling us about issues that they have in town. We're not looking to create these regulations, but we have to address them. And I'm not saying that somebody said something about your RV. I don't think that somebody's particularly, obviously there's some in town that people have issues with or we wouldn't have heard anything. So we're here to talk about, okay, this is what we have. How do we solve the issue? What do we do moving forward? So tonight we're not going to solve the issue of parking RVs on property, but we want to hear what the people have to think about it. So that's why we're here. You're welcome. Yes, sir. So, did you sign it?
I did.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Robert D'Amato. I live in Hawthorne, 177 Chelsea Street. I own 3 trailers. I have a 25-foot RV, a 6x10 enclosed trailer, and a 6x12 open trailer. Most of the time, nothing is in my property. But you have to understand, you go to Montauk with your RV, you come home 4-hour drive, where am I supposed to go? I need to put it in my driveway until I could find further storage, which usually takes a week or so to do. 6x10 trailer, me and my kid, we go for quad rides. We go down to Hatfield and McCoy's, we go to Pennsylvania, we go to upstate New York. Again, you come home from a 5-hour upstate New York trip, you have to offload, you need to go to work, you need to rest, you need to find storage. It's not, we don't have all the room in the world. I just paved my driveway because I like my house, I like the upkeep. I agree that if you have some rotting out towable in your yard or driveway, it probably should not be there. Construction equipment probably should not be there for an extended period of time. But to do away with this completely, it's going to screw up a lot of people's plans, future plans, retirement plans, and just our overall way of life that we come used to living. It's nice to go into the woods for a week and come home and take a nice hot shower in your shower and not have to worry about getting a fine for keeping your RV in your driveway. Again, if you have some rotting out, rusty, unsightly, sitting there for years, never moving, I couldn't agree more. But if it's something that people are using, and I know I do, she sounds like she does, to my knowledge, there's no town storage. I mean, my RV goes to the Dutchess County Fairgrounds for the winter. But that's winter storage. If you've ever been there, you know there's stuff going on all the time in Dutchess County Fairgrounds. They have carnivals and events, and it's beautiful. But do we have something like that? So, like I said, I rarely have anything in my driveway. But when I need to put something in my driveway, I feel that I should be able to. Taxes aren't cheap here. They're not over, but they're not cheap. And it becomes a way of life. And, you know, I would hate to have to move because my way of life has been disrupted so much. I have a third grader. She doesn't want to move, but, you know, some things are important to some people. Going away, having fun. We don't all have huge, you know, buses that we drive and can fit everything in it. I'm one of those people. That's why I have 3 different trailers. And like I said, there's rarely a trailer in my yard, but when I need it there, and it's never in my yard, it's always in my driveway. Nevertheless, when I need it, you know?
When
So-
they're in your driveway, are they in front of your house?
My driveway is pretty much on the side of my house, but it's a 4-car driveway. Two parking spots would be in front of my house. The other 2 spots would be going towards the side of my house. And there's a gate that goes to my back patio and so on and so forth. But like I said, none of them are unsightly, and they're never there for an extended period of time. It's usually a matter of loading, unloading, getting a good night's rest, finding a place to put it. And I always do, but sometimes it's there for a month. And you know, that's what I can do for now.
Do you store all 3 trailers in the winter?
I do.
You do, at Dutchess County Fairgrounds?
No, just the RV.
Okay.
The other 2, I have a friend with a piece of property in upstate New York. He allows me to keep my stuff there. But that's also a 2-hour commute. So it's like when we go there, we want to go and hang out for the weekend. You know, not just take a 2-hour ride to drop off trailers, take a 2-hour ride home. That's a waste of a day. So yeah, we try to align things to where we can get stuff done. But sometimes, like I said, it takes a month, you know? Again, third grader, busy, full-time job. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to find places, and the storage, it's not super expensive, but it's not cheap. But again, I don't want it. I don't particularly want it in my driveway all winter long. So that's what I do with it. But in the summertime, sure, if we're going to go on 3 trips in 2 months, I don't want to have to move this 25-foot trailer all over the place because somebody didn't like looking at it at one point in time. I'm sure somebody has something that I might not like looking at some point in time. But, you know, that piece of property mostly belongs to Chase, but some of it belongs to me. You know, I think I should be able to park my RV on there. Thank you.
I understand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael? Good evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Mike McGuinn, Clinton Street in Valhalla. I just would implore you to choose very, very carefully before you go down a very slippery slope. People buy houses in neighborhoods without HOAs for reasons such as this. I've had a travel trailer on my property since 2001. It was the only way we could afford to take 3 children on vacation when we were raising our family. I widened the driveway for that purpose since then. I mean, in 2001, we have a 34-foot travel trailer now. It's brand new, and no, it's not in the front of my property. It's in my driveway, but it's a motor vehicle by New York State standards. It's registered, inspected, and insured, and that's what the town code governs. Just please be careful before you start dictating, because next, who knows what somebody will want removed. Thank you.
I'll be honest with you, none of us are looking forward to doing this.
I understand. No, I understand.
Anyone else like to address the board on this?
Can I just, I just want to add something.
We can come back to you if you like.
Okay.
Laura Senti, 27 Hillside Avenue, Valhalla. I have some questions about the law that's proposed. Does it apply to just residential properties, or does it also apply to commercial properties?
It's a good question. Any front yard we have it, so it'd be, it's not specific right now, but
I think it needs to be specific if you're going in that direction, because you have plenty of commercial properties that have parking of vans and vehicles in front of them, so you're going to impact not only residential, but you're going to impact commercial. The other question I have is, will there be any possibility to grandfather for the folks that already have and have been parking their vehicles on their property? Is there any provisions to grandfather that for them? I think it was already brought up, a possibility of that the town doesn't have a place where people could rent to park these vehicles, But is that something that the town could look into, just like you do the commuter parking lots? Is there a place in town where folks could actually store this if you choose to pass this law? The other question I have is, what is the definition of a van? I know in the town code I found the definition of a front yard, but I could not find the definition of a van. And my question is it a van that has lettering on it? Is it a certain size van? Is it a minivan? Because if we start talking about minivans, we're talking about a tremendous amount of residents in the town that may or may not park it in their front yard.
Commercial van, a van with commercial plates is not allowed to be parked in a residential area.
That's already on the books, I know.
Yeah, that's on the books.
But the definition of van, I think you need to make clear, because a minivan, many residents have a minivan, and many residents don't have, their only access is a garage next to their house, which is in their front yard, according to the yard definition of the front yard. So you pull in,
Yeah.
you park your van there, be it a minivan, it's in your front yard. And if you're saying vans are not allowed, then I think that you need to clarify what you mean by a van.
Commercial van.
The other question is a bus. What are we talking about when we talk about a bus? Are we talking about a school bus, yellow-orange school bus? There's minivans that have school bus plates on them. There's people that work during the day. It's difficult to get school bus drivers. I think everybody knows that. They may be working for a company. They come home at lunchtime. They have their van or their vehicle. They park it on the road or in their front yard. Is that going to be allowed, or are we going to say, no, that's not allowed? So I think that that's something you need to consider as far as what are we talking about buses. And if you talk about commercial, there are businesses in town that have school buses in the front yard because that's on their property and that's where they park the buses. And I guess the only thing is that if you're saying that for the folks that only have a front yard driveway, then it's kind of discriminatory, because if my house, the only driveway I have is in my front yard, you're saying I'm not allowed to park a bus, a recreation vehicle, whatever, in that driveway. But if the driveway goes and extends back to the back of the house and there's a side yard, then those folks are being allowed to park their vehicles. So to me, it is a little bit on a discriminatory nature, because based on topography in this town and based on how houses have been built, you don't have a choice. You could have a circular driveway as well in front of your house, and that would not be allowed. So I think that we really need to think a little bit more about this and, get some answers as to how far we're going to go with this. Thank
Well,
you
you
very
brought
much.
some very good points.
Yeah, yes, you did, absolutely.
Yep, thank you. Thank you.
Next. Taking notes, Derek?
I am.
Don't worry, I am.
Good evening, Board, Town Council. My name is Paul Skoka. I live on Tuxedo Place. I would also like to ask the Board for consideration. Belonging part of the Fire Department as well as Coast Guard, there are times where I have trailers that I do bring into my driveway. And unfortunately, my driveway is in the front of the house, does not extend to the back of the house. And the majority of the people in our neighborhood are usually pretty considerate. If we have trailers that are in our neighborhood, they usually don't stay there. Usually just temporary storage, things of that nature. We usually take, just like the gentleman said, we'll take a trip on the PWC, we'll take it and we'll move it someplace else. I also have a boat that I like to work on, just to get commission before I take it because my boat is also offered to use for Coast Guard Auxiliary. So what I'll do is I'll take my boat to the house, commission it for a couple of days, and then it usually goes down to the boatyard and you don't see it there. For winter storage, it usually, just like this gentleman, goes upstate. We usually put it somewhere to store it off-site. So it's one of those things where we're looking for, again, for my purposes, the temporary storage for a couple of days here and there, and then it usually gets moved out of the house. So usually gets moved out of the neighborhood, so it's not such an eyesore for neighbors. And I think the majority, going around town myself,
with the exception of those few that do abuse the privilege with commercial trailers and things of that nature. I think, those few people to make the town think that we have to put a local ordinance in there to take care of things like that. I think the board should consider that.
Thank you.
All right. The other thing I'd just like to clarify too is front yard. Is that considered your driveway if it is in your front yard as well? I was just looking for clarification for that, because like I said, our front driveway does not go to the side of our house. It only stays in the front. It's only in the front of our
Now,
yard.
we may need to clarify that a little bit. Most of the comments that I received were extended stays with campers, trailers, whatever, boats. It was not somebody were for a couple of weeks or whatever. It was things that had been there for a long period of time. That's what we were dealing with.
And I totally understand the fact about commercial vehicles and things of that nature. We live in residential. It was always against local ordinances for commercial vehicles in residential neighborhoods. I can understand that. Totally for that.
No, when I was in business, I had a commercial vehicle that I could not leave in my driveway.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Linda Rentis. I live in Pleasantville. I have a enclosed trailer that I've kept in my driveway for over 20 years now, and I've had no complaints. My property does not extend to the back of my house. And even if I was been able to put it in the back of my house, in the back it's very open, and I have houses behind me. So I keep my house very nice, and I understand that there are people in the town of Mount Pleasant that have abused this. But I don't think that some of us or the rest of us should suffer for those few people. I think this should be on a case-to-case basis. If you decide to pass this law, and that's all I have to say. And I just wish everybody would consider this.
That's
Thank
why
you.
we're here.
Hi, my name is Fran Corlucci. I live at 307 Tuxedo Place. Paul already got up and spoke. He's my husband. I have more of a general statement. I do want to reiterate that maybe there can be a distinction of temporary versus long-term, and I don't know how the town would measure that, but I think that is a difference you really do need to consider, as all these people have mentioned. But I'm going to just say in general, to me this is a little bit of an overreach by the government. A lot of that happens, but this is your personal property. You pay real estate taxes. I don't like the way my neighbor keeps up his lawn. If I called and told you his lawn isn't cut quickly enough for me, was there going to be a law for that? Like, where does it stop and start?
There is a property maintenance code in town.
Okay, I think it has to be really overrun. I think just because maybe he takes 3.5 weeks to mow his lawn is not going to fall under the law of the property maintenance. But my point is, there has to be a start and a stop to how people can use their own property, especially when, as other people mentioned, you have no choice of how your house was built. My house was built in 1952. I bought it in 1998. I can't reconfigure the driveway. I'm on a 75 by 100 lot. I'm even on a substandard lot. I bought that. I knew that. That's great. Never thought in a million years that my driveway that can fit 6 cars is going to be restricted. If in the past we had an RV, we put a plow on it to do our snow. We don't anymore, but things like that. People have those things. People have ATVs to plow their snow. So now if they can't fit in their driveway and they don't have a side yard, you're going to tell them they can't do that anymore? There are a lot of factors you have to consider with limiting how people can use their own property. That's all I want to go on record.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to come back? No, we Stand up.
I forgot to mention, I'm a retiree. So for me to have to pay for storage of my 24-foot Class C RV is a little out of my budget. Also, it's better if you can store your RV with your house near your home. Because you can keep an eye on it, you can keep it up. I'm in and out of mine all the time to make sure everything is working well. Okay? So that's what I wanted to say. And by the way, I don't know if anybody knows, but there's only one RV park in the entire county of Westchester County, and it's up in Croton Point. But, and I'm the person who owns and drives the RV. So if I have to take it someplace, somebody's going to have to take me up there to bring me back. In other words, I'd take it up there, then they'd have to bring me back. It's just inconvenient. I'm 72, you know? I want to enjoy my life. I love my RV. When I look out my window every day and I see my RV, I love that RV. I love it. And I just hope that a lot of considerations are taken, you take into considerations of what's said here tonight.
Next.
Tom Murphy, Warren Avenue in Hawthorne. Most of my questions have been answered already, but just one remains. In the wintertime, when we have the snow ordinance, we got to take the vehicles off the road. Sometimes I run out of room in my driveway and I'm forced to park on my front lawn. Is that going to be an issue with this law or no?
I don't believe
It
so.
Like a car?
It's a car, motor vehicle, properly registered, so no issues. Get it parking on your front lawn in the wintertime to get it off the
Yeah,
road?
the idea is things that are there for long periods of time.
Right.
That's what was brought up to us.
Perfect, all right.
Anyone else?
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor, ladies and gentlemen of the Town Council and other duly elected officials. My name is Nicholas Wargo. My wife and I graduated Pace University, and we are now homeowners in the town of Mount Pleasant. When looking for a home, we looked all over Westchester County. Having gone to school here, we really like this community, and we do still love this community. We love everything about it. Not going to go into the details of what we like. You guys all live here. I'm sure you know what you like about it. And I think the next thing I should say is that I don't own a boat. I don't own a boat. I don't own a business. I don't have a van. I don't have an RV or anything that would be restricted, regulated, or fined upon by these new regulations. But that's exactly why I'm here. Because I think it's important that even if something doesn't affect you, but you see it as an overreach, as someone just said, or just doesn't sit right with you, that you should speak. And so I have been speaking to my friends, neighbors, and colleagues who I ride the train with every day, and the consensus that I get is that no one really feels that this is necessary. And it's not about the amount of time that someone is leaving it in their property or for what purpose it has. It's just unnecessary. I live in Valhalla Park, and on my way here, I noticed a boat and 2 camper RVs. And based on the way that I read the law, all 3 of my neighbors would be subject to some sort of out-of-pocket cost because there's no way they could feasibly store those vehicles on their property as is, or be subject to fines, which I don't really think is right. I see these things every day, and the only thing I've ever thought is, oh, where's this guy going with his boat? I wonder maybe if he'll give me a ride, or I wonder if this guy down here is going on a cool trip. I don't pass by their houses and say, oh, this is a nuisance, or this is an eyesore. It's their property. They're not bothering me. So I just don't understand why we need the law at all. Maybe, perhaps, if there was someone or a small group of people who had yachts by their definition, very, very large boats, not pleasure cruisers, that might be something we want to think about. But for most of the people in this community, I don't think they can afford, 200-foot yachts or would be able to store it anywhere on their property. What you have here are middle-class, hardworking Americans who have saved up enough money to do something a little bit extra. And frankly, if they could afford to put it in a garage somewhere, they might do that, because then it helps to prolong the use of that vehicle or camper. But they can't. So they do the best that they can, which is to store it in their driveway. And now, unfortunately, these people are going to have to find other means, some of which, like the woman who just spoke, is on a fixed income and maybe does not have the means to do that. And so now she's forced to sell that RV. So I think I'm speaking for probably more people than who are here today when I say I don't think you should do this at all. It's nothing to take into consideration. There's no changes that you should make that would have it make sense. I just don't think you need it at all. And perhaps it should be a referendum instead of a vote by the council. And you could really see how much this is not necessary. So I thank you for your time, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess if more people thought like you, that who cares what the neighbor has, we wouldn't be here tonight talking about it. And I like your attitude. Anybody else?
Did everyone sign in that
Yeah, I'll
spoke
sign
or
that.
speaking? Okay, thanks.
Pete Spano, 310 Manhattan Avenue, Hawthorne. My concern tonight is about a boat that I've had 25 years on my property, okay? I do place it on the side of my house. I have bushes I planted using a brown tarp, so even when the leaves are down all year round, it's unnoticeable. I respect my neighbors. They always come by and say, when's the boat going in the water? Have you been catching any fish? Like the lady said, it should be on a case-to-case basis, okay? I do work for the town highway department. I drive every single road in this town for 31 years, and I see what's out there, and I see what your concerns are. Blue tarps should be definitely an issue, because nobody wants to look out their window and see a blue tarp flopping in the wind. It looks like you're upstate New York, okay? The color of the tarp means a lot. You put a brown tarp, it would solve a lot of problems. A lot of people here are for RVs. I'm here for my boat, which I take out of the water sometime in November, and I store it on my property until May. I work on it at my house. This way I don't have to pay storage at the boatyard, okay? So if I have to pay there, it's another $600. I can't keep it on my property. So I'm figuring that's another $600 on my taxes that I have to pay, okay? Yes, I have a big piece of property. I can store it in the back, okay? But I just want to let everybody know that a case-to-case basis would be the way to go with this. Thank you very much for hearing me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next?
Well, I guess next is me. Now, I can come down and sign in as a resident, but I'm lucky enough to be sitting up here as a council person. I have to say, most of you know that my husband and I also own an RV. So I've been looking at this very, very carefully. I share a lot of your sentiments. I understand where the supervisor and my board members are going. And all I can say is we will look at this from both sides, inside, outside, upside down. A lot of great comments and a lot of things I didn't think about, although I've been thinking about it a lot. Yes, it would be very difficult for my husband and I to put our RV anywhere else because of the topography of our piece of property here in the town of Mount Pleasant. But I happen to be a convert to this kind of camping, and I absolutely love it. So I guess I'm trying not to be biased, but you can see which side I'm leaning. We'll do the best we can. We always do. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other board members have any comments?
I'd like to thank the residents who came this evening. You did bring up some great points, and we definitely appreciate you being here. And we appreciate all the other residents who have sent in emails or phone calls or letters, whatever they've sent in. We have got a lot of feedback from the town, so we do appreciate everyone's input. Thank you for doing this.
Carla, want to say something?
Absolutely.
Where do you keep your yacht?
Yeah.
It's fun.
Clark, I say if you, yeah, I just want to say thanks for coming by, and we all work hard and we have families, and you know, we live in a great country, we have freedom, but that freedom gives us the right to have private property. And as one gentleman said, you know, you're surfing all right, and you know, it's someone else's business, but you don't want a government to overreach. So this is really a discussion. We're not voting on a law. As a board, we'll work in a work session and discuss it in detail. All your comments are excellent, and you raised a lot of good points. I have excellent notes. Certainly not for government, like I said, you know, taking something away for you that you work so hard for. If you love a boat and you have private property, that should be part of what this country is about, freedom. So again, this is a discussion. We're not voting on something tonight, or we don't want government to, matter of fact, we think the opposite. We don't want government to overreach, like that gentleman said. So that's how I feel. Thank you.
Thank you. If there be no more comments from the public, I would entertain a motion to keep this open, Resolution 285-23, to keep this open for further discussion.
So moved to keep this public hearing open for further discussion. Thank you.
Motion by Wardy.
Second.
Second.
Tom got me there.
Give it to Tom.
Second.
Give it to
Oh, am I
Tom.
late?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you all for your comments.
Yep,
Yes,
thank
thank
you.
you.
You got more fun to come here.
You can stay.
It's nice to have an audience.
Yeah. Move on to the second public hearing. I would ask Emily to read the notice.
Notice of public hearing by the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant to consider a proposed local law to amend Chapter A224-1 fees, Chapter 145, relating to Chapter 145 parking lots. Please take notice that the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant, New York shall conduct a public hearing at the Town Hall on June 27th, 2023 at 7:00 p.m. to discuss a proposed local law that will amend the Town Code Chapter A224-1 related to fees in parking lots. Please take further notice the proposed local law is available for review in the Town Clerk's office. Please take further notice that at the public hearing upon said proposed local law, an opportunity to be heard in regards thereto will then and there be given to those favoring passage of such proposed local law and also those opposed thereto.
Do we want to, I'm not sure if the public is familiar with the existing current fees and what the proposed fees are. Could you
Yes.
give us those?
So these fees are relating to the commuter lots only. And really what we're doing is just making the code match what we've been charging or what we've been doing since before I was here. There were some that were some parts of the code that were redundant, and the only other change we're making is we're actually lowering the daily rate from 15 to 10. And then for seniors, lowering it from 10 to 5. And the other change is replacement of lost permit or administrative fee for change of vehicle. So if you register one vehicle for commuter parking and then you change it, it's going from 25 to 30 in the code, but it's been 30 for a while.
We just never updated the schedule.
code.
Yeah.
And those are the only changes.
Okay. Anybody wish to speak on this is welcome to do so at this time. Be there no speakers, I would entertain a motion to close this public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Danielle,
Second?
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to the agenda on the supervisor's report. The first item was authorization to adopt a local law, which we just spoke about, which were for boats and vehicles. I would entertain a motion to table that resolution.
So moved.
Motion by Tom.
Second.
Would you practice this?
I guess we did.
I'll give it to Danielle this time.
Finally.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next one, authorization to adopt local law 8-2023. That's the section that Emily just went over. I would entertain a motion to move on that. That's resolution 288-23.
So moved?
Motion by Jerry,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on, call for a public hearing to annex 107 King Street into the Old Farm Water District. The Old Farm Water District is off of Bear Ridge Road. It was extended to pick up other homes on King Street. This particular residence now would like to tie into that new water main that was put in there. So schedule a public hearing. What's a good date?
The next date is July 11th.
7/11. The resolution 289-23 will schedule a public hearing to annex 107 King Street into the Old Farm Water District. I'll take a motion on that.
So moved.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is purchase order 135-2301, annual mapping service for the assessor's office. This is something we have to renew every year. Let's see if we have a number here. Total cost is $12,750.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second?
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, purchase order 14423-01, professional design services for Phase 1 of the Elwood Avenue Commerce Street Streetscape project. We're finally getting to the point where we can start moving forward with our streetscape for Elwood Avenue and Commerce Street. If the other projects weren't going on right now, we would be moving forward with the parking area and the park area that we wish to get going. The county is doing their project, which they're doing a nice job, on Commerce Street and the new intersection of Commerce and Elwood. So once that's completed and they're out of there, we can start moving forward with our streetscape project. But this purchase order will, see the proposal here,
It's a big one.
Manganero, total cost is $329,500.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is purchase of ductile iron pipe for the Kensico Water District. This is treatment modifications project up at the water tank. The design of the system is to help eliminate the haloacidic acid issue. It'll inject chlorine into the system as it's leaving the tanks. It'll reduce the amount of chlorine in the tanks and will add chlorine, the necessary chlorine, as the water is exiting, going out into the system. The total cost for this ductile iron piping is $17,900.
Move for approval?
Motion by Jerry,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have I don't know if you're familiar with what's going on in the state another issue with the state. They want to change the election of local governments to match up with the presidential years. We're in objection to that because we feel that it takes away the residents' ability to focus on town issues. It'll get drowned out by national issues. Cyrus, do you have that with you? Or?
Do I have which one, our resolution?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's on Novus.
Oh, yeah, it's on here.
It's right here. Right. Can you bring it up?
I got it.
Okay.
Okay. Resolution of the Town Board opposing the passage of Election Law Assembly Bill A4282B and Senate Bill S3505B. This was already passed by the Assembly and the Senate, and it's going to the governor's desk to be signed. Whereas election law A4282B and S3505B has been passed by both Senate and Assembly in the state legislature, and whereas Governor Hochul has the power to veto this legislation, and whereas this new legislation has the goal of expanding the amount of general voter turnout at the expense of local issues, and whereas this, as proposed, election law that we've said will allow matters of national and state issues to overshadow essential local issues by placing local, state, and national matters on the ballot simultaneously. And whereas all of the town of Mount Pleasant services, police, volunteer, emergency services, water, sewer, and school community would be grossly impacted. And whereas the proposed legislation would cause disruption of and uncertainty by reducing the terms of the 25 town elections to 1 year, and whereas the continuity of the positions would be affected by the additional elections 1 year later, and whereas the town board desires for its residents to have a meaningful voice in local issues and government accountability, and now therefore be resolved that the town of Mount Pleasant calls upon Governor Hochul to veto this legislation as it marginalizes local issues for all New York State citizens, and be it further resolved that the town of Mount Pleasant adamantly opposes the election law, and be it further resolved that this resolution will be effective immediately upon adoption. Do we do a roll call vote on this?
Yeah, one question too. I know the supervisors in the county met on this, and there's a number of these resolutions passed by other towns and villages, and this is for town elections though only. But I don't know. I think you were at one of those meetings. I don't know if the public, you feel it's necessary for the public to.
It's every supervisor that I'm aware of is doing this same thing. They're all against it because they know how it affects the local elections and the local issues. So everyone on both sides of the aisle is supporting this.
You can take a motion, a second, then have a roll call vote.
Okay. Take a motion.
I'd like to make that motion. I'd also like to say that we pride ourselves here in the town of Mount Pleasant in telling our residents that the local issues are what affects your everyday lifestyle and your everyday pocketbook. So we're here. I stand very strongly against Governor Hochul passing this and putting this into law.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Councilwoman Lori Smoley,
Yes.
Councilman Tom Siliano,
Yes.
Councilman Jerome Schulman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Danielle Zano,
Yes.
and I vote yes. So it's a unanimous vote by the town board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is authorization to enter into an agreement with Mobile Smart City Corporation for pay-by-phone mobile parking services called Pango for daily parking at the Hawthorne Sunset Lot. Let's see if we have any further. Daily parking flat rate, $10 goes to the town, plus 16% convenience fee goes to the vendor. It's Monday through Friday parking paid through an app. Tentative start date, July 24th, 1 to 2 weeks for sign design, 1 to 2 weeks for sign production and installation. Sure.
So there will be 12 daily parking spots at the Hawthorne train station Sunset Lot. This will be for daily parking only, so it'll be a $10 flat rate daily parking. You can still come in to Town Hall to get the paper pass as we normally do, or you could go to the Sunset Lot and pay with the app, the Pango app, which is very popular. A lot of other towns have it. This was something that was requested a lot so that people don't have to plan ahead and know when they're going into the city for a day. So hopefully it works out for people and it's more convenient.
That's a good start. So resolution 294-23 will authorize us to enter into this agreement with Pango.
Move for approval?
Motion by Jerry,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to hire Teresa Bedagliaca as part-time. Hope I didn't mess that up. I know
You did
Terry
good.
very well.
You did? That was
Okay.
good.
You did good.
As a I know her as Petroselli. As a part-time foil clerk, intermediate clerk in the building department to handle all the foil requests, effective June 28, 2023.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I think she'd be a great asset to the building department and for the as a foil clerk. Next item, authorization to appoint Michael Gibney to the Architecture Review Board, effective June 28, 2023. We did interviews. We interviewed quite a few people for different boards, and these people that we're appointing this evening stood out as we thought they would be very beneficial to these boards. So Michael Gibney to the Architecture Review Board, again effective June 28.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second?
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next one, authorization to appoint John Grasso to the Architecture Review Board effective June 28, 2023.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second?
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, authorization to appoint Pamela Brown to the Conservation Advisory Council effective June 28, 2023.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I have the receiver of taxes report. At this point, we have business from the floor. Anyone who wishes to address the board at this time is welcome to do so.
Did you have a question before? Oh, I thought he put his hand up before.
Hello again. Question regarding the individual resolution you sent up to Governor Hochul regarding the schedule for elections. Was there any discussion among the town supervisors in the county or other government agencies about sending one joint resolution? The reason I ask is because this kind of rang true. It's actually pretty common with, if you're familiar with the ESG investing, what you'll do is, in investing terms, you'll get a bunch of investors who feel a certain way about a topic to kind of sign on together, and you have a joint resolution, and then they agree on the language, and then you just have everyone sign at the bottom. So there's certainly a lot of power in having each town send up their own resolution and bury the governor in paperwork. But to send one resolution for a large number of towns, while it takes a little more effort, it's one resolution, she reads it, and then she sees this really long list of towns, almost like a petition, that, you know, that has a little more power to it because it's got all those towns on there. I'm just curious if there was any discussion about that or why you would take this route versus the other.
We did do the letter. There's a letter from all supervisors, signed by every supervisor that went to the governor today. The resolution is just to show that each municipality, their boards are also in favor of this. So as a letter from the supervisors, all the supervisors signed it, and it's a 3-page, it's a letter with all the signatures on it, and that went today.
Okay, so individual town resolution as well as joint resolution for all the town supervisors.
Yes.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to address the board? Moving on, move to Emily, your town clerk's agenda.
Town clerk's agenda, town board meeting, June 27th, 2023. Public hearing to discuss a proposed local law that will add Chapter 85 to the town code to limit parking and storing boats and other vehicles. Public hearing to consider amending Town Code Town Code Section A224-1, Schedule of Fees established for Section 145-5, Time Limit Exception, Section 145-18, Permit Fees, and Section 145-20, Transferability of Permit, Change of Vehicle, Plate Number, Permit Application Prohibited. Received and filed the Mount Pleasant Library Board minutes for May 18th, 2023, and received and filed one notice of claim from Jean-Claude Mazzola versus the town of Mount Pleasant.
Item 2 on the claims would be referred to our town attorney. Moving on to our council reports, Councilman Saliano.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My report is from the Comptroller. The following claims are submitted for town board approval. From the Justice Court, Carl R. Anderson, $4,550. Precise Translators, LLC, $1,150. The total in that category is $5,700. Computer, WinX Holdings LLC, DBA, Logically, $700. From Superintendent of Highways, Roberts Department Store Incorporated, $120. From the Highway Garage, 3G Garage Doors LLC, Epeco, Buglione Plumbing and Heating, Cantor's Carpet Service Incorporated, $17,854.66. From the category of Central Garage, Roberts Department Stores Incorporated, $728. From the category of Adult Programs, USSSA Westchester, $6,188. From Pool, PVS Mini Bulk Incorporated, $2,650.02. Buglione Plumbing and Heating, $2,188.47. $4,838.49 for the pool category. From General Repairs, Roberts Department Store Incorporated, $2,021.70. $125. From Peckham Industries, $13,005.61. $1,306.25. $2,452.45. $2,742.71. $2,705.35. $2,779.65. $4,043.75. $1,008.28. Again, the same, and there should be a total on this. Where's the total?
No, it's next page. Oh,
Okay.
it's next.
General Repairs, Vactor Rental, $13,440, $720, $3,360. The grand total is $56,486.25 for that category. From highway machinery, you got Jim Reed's Truck Sales, DBA Jim Reed's Equipment, LaCal Equipment Incorporated, Long Island Sanitation Company, McGrath Municipal Equipment, Moorhead Hose and Belting Corporation, for a total of $18,824.86. From Capital Building Improvement, Quality Environmental Solutions Technologies, the Star Carlton Company, Fencetown. Grand total $41,969.03 for that category. From Capital Highway Machinery and Equipment, Granger Incorporated, Hempstead Lincoln Mercury Motors Corporation, Richard Zelonic, DBA Eagle Window Coating, Tesla Incorporated, $114,820. From the category of Capital Old Farm Hill Water, $5,545. From Special Drainage District, Chemeng Supply Corporation, Expanded Supply Products Incorporated, Peter J. Landy Incorporated, $5,513.24. From the category of Fire Protection, Newcastle Fire District Number 1, $2,006 and $206,202. From Mount Pleasant Consolidated Sewer District, Thale Industries. From the Mount Pleasant Consolidated Sewer District, again, Thale Industries, and All Makes Pumps Motor Repair Incorporated, $18,218.09. From the Joint Water District Fund, Peckham Industries, Wingdale Materials, Thale Industries, $4,947.94. The last category, ladies and gentlemen, Kensico Water, Card Member Services, Peckham Industries, Wingdale Materials, PVS Mini Bulk Incorporated, $15,476.11. The grand total for the controller's memo, $524,131.67. I respectfully ask the board for a motion of approval, and I thank you for your patience.
Motion by Tom,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Have a very good evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Zano.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, fellow board members, residents of Town of Mount Pleasant. My report comes from our police department. My first item comes from Chief Oliva, Purchase Order 30-23-25. This is authorization to renew agreement for Eventide Logging Recorder. This device records all radio transmissions, incoming and outgoing phone calls for the police department. These recordings are essential for everyday operations and allows the police department to manage risk for the agency. The current lease of this equipment is nearing its end, and the vendor has sent a renewal quote. This is a yearly renewal. The vendor is Goosetown Communications. This is a 5-year contract, 10 semi-annual payments of $4,050 for a total of $40,500. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second?
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
My next item also comes from Chief Oliva. This is authorization to extend conditional offer of employment to a police officer candidate effective June 28, 2023. This is to fill a vacant position that was created by a recent retirement. The police department has requested a civil service list for police officer candidates. A candidate was interviewed and selected. At this time, they are requesting the candidate's name not be released as further screening tests are required. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second. Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And my last item, also from Chief Oliva, is authorization to hire a seasonal dispatcher effective June 28th, 2023. This is in an effort to replace a vacancy that was created Mr. Thomas Fages of Peekskill was interviewed and has undergone the necessary background investigation. He has considerable experience, and the recommendation from the police administrative staff is to offer him seasonal employment. His rate will be $22 per hour, and again, effective June 28th, 2023. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you.
I know the communication desk is getting there.
Yes,
Tremendous amount of work there,
maybe not quick enough, but it's getting
Yeah.
there.
but it's a long time coming. This has been needed for many years, but finally getting there. Councilman Shulman.
Yep, good evening. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, fellow board members, towns of Mount Pleasant residents. My report this evening is from Parks and Recreation. I'd like to begin with purchase order from John Petroselli. Purchase order 70-23-63. This is for the Community Center oil tank repair. The vendor is American Petroleum. They will saw cut the cement, remove and replace the existing spill box, riser, and drop tube, and dispose of all debris. The total cost for this is $4,495, and this is per Westchester County contract. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Jerry,
Second?
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
My next item is from Danielle Fairweather, Senior Recreation Leader. This is purchase order 70-23-65, and this is for the Harlem Wizards Camp Show. The Harlem Wizards will be coming to do a show for the Camp Great Ventures and Grade 3 of Summer Fun. Total cost is $3,300. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Jerry,
Second?
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And my final item this evening is from Danielle Fairweather, purchase order 70-23-66. These are camp movie trips. The vendor is National Amusements. This is movie trips for Camp Great Ventures and Great Escape. Total cost is $3,841.50. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Jerry,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
That's it for this evening. I know camp started yesterday, and I think all is well. I hope everyone has a great summer, and also the pool's doing well as well. So we're moving full speed ahead. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Councilwoman Smalley.
Good evening. My report is from Richard Benquit, Superintendent of Highways. The first item is purchase order 50-23-13, the 2023 paving operation of various roads. As I read the spreadsheet, there are 31 roads listed throughout the town which will undergo paving this season. The total anticipated cost for this work is $1,200,000. With that being said, the supervisor, the comptroller, and the department head have met together and they have worked out a way to finance this. It is very difficult, but is work that needs to be done. I would go ahead and move for approval for the spending of this money and for the plan to be in place as described by the comptroller in the memo that the town board has right now. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item is from Richard Benquit, again, Superintendent of Highways, authorization to deposit a bond for street opening permit number 6431. The street it is Westchester Masonry and Excavation LLC for work being performed at 135 Lakeshore Drive in Pleasantville. When the work is complete, the check will be remitted to Westchester Masonry and Excavations, at 197 Grand Street in Croton-on-Hudson, and the bond amount is $10,000. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second?
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Again, from our very busy Richard Benquit, Superintendent of Highways, another authorization to deposit bond for curb cut permit number 1502. And this is for Diego Moulard, and the bond amount is for $240 for work being performed at 322 Sherman Avenue in Hawthorne. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The last, again, from Richard Benquit, Superintendent of Highways. Authorization to deposit bond for curb cut permit number 1502. Wait a minute, that was just read. And I apologize for that. Oh,
You skipped the one
I
before.
skipped one. Having a rough night here. Okay. This was for authorization for curb cut permit number 1498. And this is for Westchester Masonry Excavation LLC. The bond amount is for $360. And this is for work that will be done. 135 Lakeshore Drive in Pleasantville. Again, I apologize for the disruption in the process here, but I would move for approval for this curb cut permit, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. That's my report for this evening.
Good thing it wasn't a permit for your camper.
Oh, ouch.
Ouch is right.
I will ask our town attorney to give us a report.
We do have one matter today, Mr. Supervisor and Town Board. I'm going to request authorization to accept the settlement of the tax certiorari claim for the Legion of Christ property located at 582-590 Columbus Avenue, designated on the tax map as 11216-1-1. As you know, we've been in litigation with the Legion of Christ for a long time.
Too many years.
We'll just leave it at that. For the last 8 years, there's been a litigation concerning whether the property's been tax exempt or not. We've entered into an agreement subject to the town board approval, and the school district has been on board and actually approved this settlement already to make the property approximately 75% taxable for those years, and then move forward and hopefully they sell the property and it becomes fully taxable in the near future. So I'd ask for a settlement, approval of the settlement for those tax years and the tax cert settlement as outlined.
Long time coming. Resolution 31123 will authorize, Resolution 31023 will authorize settlement of this tax cert with the Legionnaires property.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Shefazada, for your work on this. It's
Yes,
been
Yes, thank you.
a very long and
Long time
arduous.
coming.
Thank you very much.
Before we get to the schedule of meetings, there is a request to have a child daycare center on 322 Sherman Avenue in Hawthorne. It's been a contentious situation for the town. We have never been in favor of it. We felt that a daycare center does not belong in a residential area. Unfortunately, the state, we have no control over it. The state is mandating us to follow it. We cannot challenge it through the legal system or anything. But what we will do is notify everyone within a certain distance of that property that the situation has come up and it's approved by the state, and we're giving people the information they need to contact the state if they have an issue with it. But just so you all know, it's not something the town was in favor of at all. But again, the state's controlling what we're doing in our community, which we are not happy with. So anybody within a certain distance of 322 Sherman will be receiving a letter and contact information for New York State so we can inundate them with complaints. Not that it does anything, but anyway. Next item is authorization to change our work session date to Wednesday, July 5th, due to July 4th is our holiday. So Resolution 31123 will change our work session date to Wednesday, July 5th.
So moved.
Motion by Lori,
Second?
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our business session will be Tuesday, July 11th at 7 PM. And if there be no further business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Tom,
Second?
second by Jerry. Tom and Jerry, that's the way it should be. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.